Hi guys, welcome to another video from Overbite Gaming, and this week we're going to be taking a look at Hogwarts Legacy. Now, there is an elephant in the room, and I did spend some time thinking whether or not I was going to talk about it, and I've decided that I am. Purely because I think there are some behaviours associated with it that really need to be pointed out and basically shamed because it's reprehensible. Okay, so if you don't know, J.K. Rowling, obviously the creator of the Harry Potter license, said some stuff on social media platforms that a lot of people didn't agree with, along the lines of trans women aren't women and shouldn't be allowed in women's spaces, things like that. Now, personally, speaking for me personally, it's probably because I'm an old man, I happen to think she has a point. But that doesn't mean I get to tell you how you should act. And neither does JK. If you're of adult age and you're not hurting anybody and you're not doing anything illegal, then you be you. That's fine. I will, if I meet you, and I will treat you civilly and with respect and everything like that. But unfortunately, there are some members of that community that was offended that just couldn't not show their hatred. They were exceptionally hostile online towards her. They doxed her, turned up at her house, and now obviously the Hogwarts Legacy game comes out, and because it's associated with the Harry Potter license, they're calling for boycotts, which hasn't worked. There's been a series of just sham articles basically from reviewers saying, oh, it looks like a game from 10 years ago, blah blah blah, and basically only talking about JK's political and social views rather than the story of the game and what the game's about and how it plays. So I just think that, we've had streamers that have just been harassed. I think it was Girlfriend Reviews. She started crying. You've driven a woman to tears. Does that make you happy? You're apparently the most diverse and accepting community on the planet. Unless someone disagrees with you, and then it's one of the most toxic and hate-filled communities I think I've ever seen. No one has to think exactly as you have to think. That goes for you as well, obviously. But you shouldn't be bullying people into agreeing with you. It's just wrong and it's sick. Please stop. And I know that's like 0.1% of the community, and I know most of the members of that community are probably nice people. But it's just the horrible ones are always the ones with the loudest voices, and that goes for any community. So with that out of the way, I'm going to get on and just talk about the game, because I fucking love it. Spoilers. So you start as a new student to Hogwarts. It's a bit weird because you're a 5th year student. It's uncommon for someone to start that late. And you get attacked on the way there by dragons, and then you go on a bit of an adventure before finally setting foot into the school. It's obviously played from a third person standpoint, and you learn more spells as you go along. You have your basic blast, you have Protego, which is the shield, when you start, and then you get other ones quite quickly. Usually it'll be as a quest reward, including if you're Slytherin, because of course I was Slytherin. Why wouldn't I be? Some of the dark arts, the unforgivable curses and what have you. Oh, side note, if anyone has worked out how to make Imperial work on Professor Garlic, please let me know. I've been trying to make her my puppet. So I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan, actually. I've seen all the movies. I've never read any of the books. My wife is a bigger Potter fan than I, so I kind of bought this because I wanted to. I wanted to play it. Having seen Hill vs Babyface stream some of it, it looked pretty good. And also I wanted her to play it, and she's been playing it. She's not great with the control. She keeps having to look down. Take this. Bless her, I know. But it is a great game. It looks fantastic. It performs relatively well. Without ray tracing, everything on high, it can dip below 60. So I've put DLSS on high quality, and this keeps it sort of between 70 and 120 most of the time. It will go up to 144 in like caves and stuff where it's not having to do much as well. It's a great looking game anyway. It doesn't really detract from the looks of it. Some of the vistas are absolutely stunning. It doesn't look like a 10-year-old game, despite what some idiot reviewers will tell you. It's great. I love learning the spells. I love doing the classes. All the side activities in the open world are fun. I don't really find one and go, oh god, this one I can't. Oh, I don't really be asked to do that one. They're all fun. You get a broom early on that you can go and buy your own, and then you can fly around the world. There are some zones where you can't fly, such as some sections of Hogwarts and some of the hamlets. And that's good fun as well. There's races involved there, and you can upgrade your broom and change its appearance. Transmogs are there from the start. Any item you pick up, you will instantly gain the appearance for. You don't have to equip it or anything, you just have it in your inventory, you've got the appearance. So if you like the look of it and you've got something better that looks a bit silly, and there are quite a lot of silly looking things, some of the spectacles with beast eyes would rank up there high in my silliness scale. And you can just transmog them to look like something better. I mean, there's a few things that look like Sith masks, and I thought, right, I'm going dark arts, boys, let's do it. Hogwarts itself is absolutely huge. You will spend a long time running around there. There are plenty of hidden areas. There's plenty of sort of skill-gated areas as well. For instance, there's like 3 levels of locks that you can unlock using a spell, and you get the early level spell quite quickly. But 2 and 3 take a bit of work. There's also puzzles to do, so there's like a Sudoku kind of thing where you have to work out what the total of like symbols and numbers are by looking at the arch above it. Hot tip for you guys, starts at 0. Caught me out as well, don't worry about it. And then once you've got the correct answer, the door will open, you can get in there, usually a chest in there with some loot in it. The loot basically buffs just your defense and your offense stats. It will have a quality marker so you can see at a glance whether it's better. Excuse me, it's my lunch to try and come back up. Whether it's better than what you currently have equipped. There's a pretty obvious red arrow down if it's not, and a green arrow up if it does. Standard stuff there. It will some of them will also have buffs against certain things, like you'll take less damage from a certain enemy, or you'll deal more damage with a certain spell. You can also you open up the room of requirement, in which you can grow herbs, you can mix potions, you can use the loom, you can identify objects, because some of them you pick up, you don't know what they are, so you have to take them and identify them. I will say the inventory is kind of limited at first, but you do get the option to expand it by doing, I think, Merlin quests or something, Merlin tests, something like that. It's definitely Merlin related, but you have to do these. There's dotted around, there's a load of them, and every so often you unlock your challenge, and it will allow you to up the amount of gear that you can hold, so you don't have to visit the shop quite so often. There's nothing more annoying than opening a chest. And I've had it happen a couple of times. I've opened a chest, I've gone, shit, my inventory's full. So I've destroyed something in my inventory, and then I wasn't able to open the chest again, so I've effectively lost that loot. So always make sure you have some space in your inventory. Visit shops often. There are flu points, right? I can't remember what they're called. But it's basically, as you go near them, it's a fast travel point, it unlocks. There's tons of them all around the countryside, all throughout Hogwarts, and they are super convenient to have, especially when you're just about to go in a dungeon. You're like, shit, I got full inventory, and there's a flu flame right there. So you just fast travel to a shop, fast travel back again, and you're good. As I said, the graphics are great, the voice acting's good. Some of the character models I've noticed are relatively similar to each other, and it is set in like the 1800s, so it's a little more diverse than I would expect to see, but I mean, that's current culture coming in there as well. And there is a trans woman that works in the bar, or maybe even owns the bar, actually. I think probably owns the bar. I'm not sure how her reception would have been in 1800s. I'm thinking not particularly well. Mind you, she does live in a world where people are wizards as well, so I don't know. It is kind of like an alternate reality. Who can say? Certainly if she turned up in like 1800s London with current sensibilities, she would probably be being treated, shall we say. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. It's Harry Potter world, whatever. They can get away with it. But yeah, I love the characters. For some reason, the goblins look fantastic. There's something about the goblins that just look really squishy and fleshy. Excuse me. I'd have a little sip of tea that I've got here, but it's red hot, so I won't be doing that. Oh, I do have emergency bottle of Coke. Ah, yes. Wow, that was really loud. Sorry about that, headphone users.
Professor, this statue. This may have been his home.
There we go. A little wet of the whistle. Take that tickle out of my windpipe there. So yeah, the main problem I have with Hogwarts Legacy is the fact they're all children, right? I mean, who am I supposed to lust after? Well, the answer's clear. It's Professor Garlick. She's the only sort of teacher there that's remotely attractive or not old. And, you know, she kind of looks like my evil ex, which is kind of distracting. So I kind of want the Imperial spell so I can, like, you know, debase her and humiliate her and do nasty things. It'd be quite self-affirming for me, I think.
Someone have conjured that enchanted stone
I didn't actually mean that as a joke. That just came out that way. She's the botany teacher, so you'll get assignments outside of classes from teachers because you're trying to catch up in your education, because obviously starting at 5th year puts you at a disadvantage. There's a whole ton of spells ranging from Accio, where you can move things about, Flipendo, where you flip them over. You get Incendio, I think that's the name of it, where you just cast fire, and then you reach a certain level. I don't know what the level was. I wasn't paying attention when I hit it. But then you unlock talents, and you get talent point every time you level, and it can change your spell effects. It can make you stronger, stuff like that. One thing you wanted to keep an eye out for is your challenges, because you'll have challenges that say kill 10 goblins, or
it can't be.
Find 5 field guide pages in this area. And once you've done them, you can go in and claim the reward for completing the challenge, but it won't do it automatically. You have to go in and claim it. So just keep an eye on that. Didn't fool me, because I saw Az do it, but I know some people have been caught out by that. You will also notice that some of the rewards that you get for doing quests and the challenges, they won't be. You'll think, oh great, look, new item, cool. It might not be. It might be just the appearance. So you can transmog your current item to look like that rather than a new item in and of itself. That did confuse me a little bit initially, but outside that, I'm having a hell of a time with it. I haven't quite finished it yet. I am about 30 hours in, which is about as much as I could physically play since it releasing and getting to the point where I needed to do the video. I have nothing but good things to say about it. There's so much to do. It's really hard to like pick it all up and make sure I get it all in here. There's beasts. You can capture beasts and then take them to a room of requirement, where you have like these sort of interspatial nexuses sort of things where you can go and release them and they can be safe from poachers. You can also breed them to create more and feed them and care for them, and some you can mount as well. There's hippogriffs that you can mount. Yeah, I got one with my pre-order, because of my pre-order I should say, and there's one in the game as well. They're effectively just different skins. There's nothing particularly special about either. But to be fair, I quite like using my broom, so sorry hippogriffs, you're just not really useful to me. You're just another way of getting around that isn't as good as the one I've got, although they can run. So I guess if you're in a no-fly zone, you could run through with a hippogriff maybe. I actually tried that. Maybe I should. That'd be funny. There's not a huge amount of comedy or anything like that in the game. It's all sort of fairly straight-laced Harry Potter stuff. You will not obviously you will not obviously see any of the characters you're familiar with from the books or the movies because it's set hundreds of years before that. I think it's like 200. So I think that's a good idea because it keeps it out of like. There's nothing worse usually because it's very hard to do than having your story sort of intertwine with the main character's story because you always like, yeah, I'm the B team. I want to be doing what the main guys are doing, but I can't because I can't change the way that it happened, kind of thing. And there are some that did it relatively well. I mean, one of my top games, The Third Age, kind of did that a little bit, and it wasn't too bad at all. They did it quite well. It was still a little bit, I don't know about that, but I think setting it beforehand was a good choice. Certainly when you're flying along and you see the Hogwarts Express beneath you and you come across the school and you see it across the lake and there's the bridge that you saw in the movie, it's just so good. I mean, I can't imagine how much more I would appreciate if I was an actual Harry Potter fan, because I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, and I've seen all of the movies on my own volition. I wasn't pressured into it, or this was before I met my wife even. But it was just never one of those franchises that was like one of the big ones for me. I mean, but I still love the game because it's just a great game. There's not too much to say about it. There's maybe one technical issue I have with it, and that's the fact you can't do exclusive full screen. The closest you can get is window borderless, which makes picking your resolution a bit trickier than it should be. It is nice though. It does show you when you have like your DLSS on whether or not what resolution it's scaling up from, so you can see how much it's actually had to reduce and then sort of back up with AI, which is nice to see. A lot of games don't bother telling you that. I did play it on the Steam Deck as well. It is certified for the Steam Deck, and generally speaking, it plays pretty well. I think it was like 245 and 60 and obviously it is set all at lowest. It defaults to that with FSR 1 as well. So, there you go. It is on a small screen though, obviously, so you can probably get away with doing that. I didn't have any problems playing it on that. I mean, I'd rather play it set on my PC with a bigger screen, but in this case, if you're out and you want to play a bit of fun, yeah, it works well. It does sync up to the Steam Cloud, so you can plug the Steam Deck, turn it off, come back to your PC and continue on from there, so it's not
shame
a
you're so foul.
So if you have a Steam Deck and you want to play it, go right and play it. It's fine. Absolutely fine. Okay, so we need to talk about the combat. And the combat in this game is really well done. So the way it works is that you have access to a basic cast on the right trigger, or the right two, depending on your platform of choice. If you hold that down, you'll then have access to the 4 face buttons, which you can assign 4 spells to. As you progress through the game, you unlock, using talents, different sets up to 4, which you can do by holding down right trigger and using the D-pad to select which of the 4 sets you want to use, and then they are assigned to the face buttons. The spells are actually used quite intuitively in combat because certain enemies will put up shields that deflect your basic cast and you can't hurt them. They are color-coded to spells, so say if you've got a yellow one, you can get through his shield with Levioso, for instance, and if it's a purple one, you can get through it with Accio, I think. And once the shield's down, they're then vulnerable to taking damage from basic casts and other spells. There are spells that don't seem to pay any heed to what shield they've got on, like the curses. They seem to go right through anyway and knock the shield off. And you have access to the special magic that is only available to you because you're very special in the game, as all players must be. And you build up a bar, and once that bar is built up, you can hold down right and left bumper, or right one and left one, and then you will do a magic attack that will basically kill whatever it is you target, and if it's a boss, then you just chop the health off. The boss fights are all quite good. You do have Protego, which is a shield spell, which is in sort of Arkham style. It puts up a Y prompt or a triangle prompt, I guess, on PlayStation. And you press the button and you put your shield up and deflect whatever's coming at you. There are unblockables as well, in which case you need to roll out of the way using the B button, or I guess the circle button. I should just say, fuck it, I'm going to use an Xbox controller for the rest of this section. You can also utilise potions as well, so you've got potions of invisibility, stuff like damage, things like that. You have certain other things you can use, like you can grow trumping cabbages that you can throw out in combat and attack people, things like that. So there's a lot of variety to it. It's really good. You can also pick up shit from the world and just fling it at people, which is pretty fun actually. I just like everything else in this game. The combat was just done really fucking well, and it's good fun. I don't ever think, oh no, combat, bloody hell, boring. Like everything else in the game, I come to it and I'm like, oh yeah, combat, great. It's just such a well done game that everything is just interesting and it feels good to play all of it. So that is my review of Hogwarts Legacy. I think it's a fantastic game. It's actually my first game I bought for myself in months, and it's a game I do not regret buying. It's already paid for itself over the course of 30 hours, and I've probably still got a good few hours to go. I've heard some people say it's around 50.
Let's go!
And I'm doing like the side quests as well, so probably more than that. My wife's only tried it once for a couple of hours and she enjoyed it, so she'll be back on that as soon as I'm not, basically. But yeah, I mean, it's just a great game. As I've continually said, I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan, but I love it. It's great. I would highly recommend it to all stripes of gamers. Please, 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 don't pay attention to anybody that tells you you shouldn't get this game because J.K. Rowling's a bad person. This game has, outside of licensing the rights from her, it's not written by her. She has very little to do with it, and it's a great experience. And don't believe the people that tell you, oh, you'd have to worry about taking money away from the developers because they would have been paid already. That's bullshit. Most developers have contracts that are tied to bonuses based on the performance of sales, in which case these guys will be getting paid quite a lot of money anyway, because it has been a sales juggernaut, as it should be. Quality should always be rewarded with profit, and it is in this case. Anyway guys, I'm going to leave it there. You have yourself a good week, and I'll catch you next time. Take it easy guys.